Spotting not much of anything in alt. Hearing not much of anything towards Banana. That smoke obviously going to be very telling that they're going to be finishing here. Otherwise, it would have been a wild run and a goose chase back to B with that pick just after the smoke had bloomed. He saw the jumping player, and Venomzera doesn't stop there. Shifts into the site and actually takes some of the heat off of Ponter, and he needs to find one. He needs to frag out, and when he does double down, he's bought enough time for Canids to get here with the dual Berettas, but it won't matter when Tomasa's got ammo left in the Glock. A clutch, a 1v2 in a matter of seconds, and he's even going to do a little bit of a kickflip with the corpse.
Look at this pace from Toma. Not necessarily the player that you would look at to be this pacey on an apps take, but he's going charging through, and it's a rinse and repeat here for Red Canids with a 4-stack again on this side of the map.
Oof. That's a good one from the flying SMG. Coldzera, tried and true to the sniper role, has picked up a scout, but in pit, that's a scary position to be in with that once you've been overrun. Good damage even still being popped through and pushed in to where maybe conversion with the pistol. Luchov, I believe, was just a split second away from swinging alongside Kaysen, who
to really study as far as this map is concerned.
Emo just gets absolutely crapped on by that flashbang. But it was all part of the design. There were players there ready to swing by his side. He wasn't out on his own, on his lonesome. Cowes thought there was a world where he might have been able to find another, but Coldzera, knowing now that they had flushed halls, they'd gotten 2 kills of the 3 that were seen, and the 3rd was the traitor. He should be willing and ready to look towards lane side, but Drop's got no idea that Luchov has snuck by his sight lines, and Coldzera, he's a little bit exposed right now, so once that smoke at Archway does fade, he's a dead man.
Oh, and Luchov, just a clean, surgical bit of entry work on the arch side of things. Coldzera, not long for this world, and neither is his captain. Ponter trying to hold on to this gun. Matoma is able to brandish that AK just quick enough.
And you want to take that and you want to run with it as far and as fast and as long as you can. Another round where they throw that bottom mid smoke, another round where they follow it with an HE, but this is a round where they have guns, a flash high and alt mid actually does catch Tomas in, but Venomzera bested, and he's going for more. He's looking for the double up, finds it, and although he's been traded, his life is all the more important, having been sacrificed, split the defense at 1-1, and the B site is where they want to finish.
Coldzera now up to bat. He's going to swing out, get his kill, back away.
Huge.
Very important kill to keep this round in limbo. Plant's out in the open. Can't have his plant denied. And now into the 2v2. Blank coming in from Ponter on the banana side of things, which means this Noxy head-to-head will be all the more important now that he's stuck in pool.
He's had a little bit of a struggle today, honestly, Paladin. He's had moments where they're sitters, practically. Fights that you can't be affording to drop, especially not in scenarios such as this. And exactly that, he'll fall, but leaves Kaysen, an ever-consistent player on rifler up. Only good for the first, but how much more could you have asked? He was in a position he couldn't have fallen away from in time. And although Ponter is on the bomb, I don't know if he's going to have it. It's tight.
Oh!
And he's going to barely, by the skin of his teeth, pull it through.
Oh! And after Toma's huge play on the underpass side of things, getting those 2 kills were so important. But shout out Coldzera for being very reserved in a situation like that. In our side, very kind to Bestia so far in this map, and they'll try to go in, but the recrunch from Cowes is fantastic.
All right.
A double kill for him means that this round is thrown completely into disarray for the T side. Toma has been looking for this kill onto the pit player for quite some time, but Cold will capitalize, and it's just Kassin and Luchov here. A shot goes awry, the op brings out, 30 seconds left on the clock, and I'll be honest, I think a save is probably the best call. And now, avenues on their exit is what they're looking for.
Coldzera's just sat pretty in pit.
Well, back to brackets old faithful for Bestia. This time Coldzera is giving a little bit more of a fight. He wants to take the duel straight up, and he hits the leg. But he has to fall away a little bit more. That's where his riflers can do some good work. VenomZera with the triple kill to complete this round. It leaves Kassin again in a tough clutch. And he'll find himself one. Shave this one down to a 1-on-3, but bomb is still in coldzera's grasp, in his sight lines. And with that, another forcible, not clutch, save here for BESTIA.
Justifying it, but this is kind of one of those instances, actually, where the utility they have is only going to make for them to take banana, execute, and then maybe a re-execute in the same spot. But they won't even get that far, maybe, it would seem, because Drop's going to drop them. Double up, though, from two separate players. The up will drop the first, and Teemo's Tech 9. That looks about as good, too, and Cowas wants to get active before they plant. Good decision, seemingly, but maybe not when the trades are as quick and as shifty as Teemo can possibly be.
But they got to recover the bomb now at this point, and that's a bit overzealous from Timo. Maybe a jiggle could have been enough, but instead, he bites off a little bit more than he could chew. And Timo will recover the bomb. I think they were preemptively considering that he would just commit to that A bomb site, but he doesn't. That small little break in the action actually continues to give an open runway for Toma to clutch this one up. He's got a smoke molly as well. This is a real doable clutch here for the Argentinian, and we've seen him produce in these kind of situations before.
Now trying to walk it back on a timing with that Molotov stalling out the Canids for as long as it were. Honestly, might be better off for him to stay over towards Balls, but there's a smoke, there's a molly, there's a kit on both. Tomasin's going to need to isolate a duel first and foremost, but they've taken their sweet time. They've missed their smoke! No! It was meant to go deeper. It actually hurts them, but Tomasin's just going to be able to sit on this one for 10 seconds. They've not yet stuck it. Eventually they will, but coverage from VenomZera necessary, or else that one was a done deal. I really thought that they might have spoofed it. Not, you know, insane or anything like that, but certainly playing the game in between as an experienced player would, and look at his experience shine through as he rotates to B, where the bomb looks to be stacked up.
Yeah, he's approaching it as an opper, not a rifler that has switched over to the opping role. Now, Luchov has still gotten himself a spicy entry over this B bomb site, but the kills are just not coming to Bill on top of that. Finally, Poncher falls, and Cold will continue his time in the sun here. The nade could be good to finish off Luchov, and it absolutely is. Bomb will hit the dirt, and we hit ourselves into a 3v3.
4 or 5 shots from the op in that round not to connect, but the HE will do it. We'll take that. Cowas and VenomZera have been consistent. Multi-kills have started to flush. A smoke towards banana. A full set of utility from VenomZera needs to be expunged to expel these players amidst the open now. Is Kaysen, but the smokes have not yet faded. They're going to go through it with a flash release attempt to, as the HE is right atop the hopper, and no way back into that site.
Plenty of cash in the bank for this defense, and this time it's faster up the banana and drop, caught behind a Molotov, and Kassin cannot catch the lineup behind the flames. So into the 4v4, and real question marks for BESTIA. Did they want to explode back onto the bracket scene, considering they spotted 2 on banana? Question, or the answer to them is yes. This time they're going to go walking through the smoke into coldzera's scope. That gives a freebie over to the vet. Even if Arch is lost, Cowas will find another flash to boot. Timo hits the deck. This is a masterful round here from the Red Canids. It's all up to Noxy in the 1v4.
Yeah, and Cowas has just been looking hot, so I don't even doubt that with the shadow advantage and a slight off angle, he may be able to clothesline him. Yep, there it is.
For the CT side as well. Ooh, wow. And instantly, the utility actually nets a positive. An airstrike on the logs. And BESTIA have themselves a manufactured 5v4.
Guns a blazing? Right in? Could be something wild. The flash off of the wall actually does land in front of him, however, so once his teammates get the kill, then he'll activate. That should be the last of them. coldzera, something vintage, not quite. BESTIA back in the pistol round to find their lead.
Ability to face. If he does, there's going to be a real sketchy fight, and I don't think he's even aware of how close these guys can be, and he just gets his head ripped clean off.
Howez close up and personal, and they weren't ready for it, but they were ready to go for their next swing. Big move. Looked like it was one that may have panned out, but the trades from Red Canids a little bit quicker in kind with drop being brought to the red. It could have gone the other direction perhaps, but BESTIA are going to have to live to fight another day. This, with that utility granted by that save as mentioned, they can try to support Kaisen as best as they can, but not really given the tools actually to work there. It seemed he went a little bit more for the dry approach, Paladin. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, and it's Cowis who doesn't stop. You've heard of Zywoo, but Cowis, maybe not the same player, but very much so, giving flashes of the aggression that can be seen that gets you banana control at the snap of a finger. And everybody is okay. They ain't coming back, not until next round at the very least, not until 8-all has been secured.
Very, very odd that that's the round drawn up from BESTIA after the timeout.
I agree.
And now the Canids have been gifted an equalizing round off the back of a fantastic round there from Cowis.
Not necessarily like walking in fights or anything, but like he was the first point of contact many a time, and now also showing that level of aggression on T side and successfully converting kills. I think it's really interesting because I actually wasn't pinning him to be the one who would be the aggressor on T side, frankly, at least not in an entry pack. But
yeah. And yet it's still working as successfully as it is. That being said, Cowis is down for the count in this round here, and it's an all-out gamble from BESTIA as they swarm back into this A bomb site and have an opportunity to sneak one right underneath the noses of the Canids. Oh, but this is crazy. This is absolutely ridiculous. They just go walking straight through the smoke and gift over the man advantage back to the Canids. Toma still up to bat here, still has an opportunity to find a little bit of impact in this round here. Smoke off on the arch side, and coldzera cuts down the number of angles he has to duel, but Toma still strikes nonetheless. Still a little bit of a chance here as this rifle duo still has a chance to sing with the AK Deagle combo.
okay. Hunter looked like he was actually maybe able to isolate another duel beyond that, but Luchov slips out and just peeks from beneath.
But he still wants to duel. That's Luchov for you, always trying to find himself in the action, and yet still he'll find the impact. Somehow, some way, Cowis hits the deck. Apartments control, and you're gonna have to brute force your way into brackets or banana, no matter where you choose.
What?
Oh, what? Okay.
How did that not hit? I thought that hit. Okay. Well, now they've got an anchor and an MP9 in Timo, so do what you can. While you can. They're giving them so much time to rotate. They've all gotten here. They've got somebody at default by this point to be able to swing off the box. Timo can play his life. He needs everybody else on scene. And when they arrive, he actually is the one to spring into action thanks to the diversion.
Anyways, Timo has his bracket set up with Toma here on the port side of things. A very feast or famine setup, and Toma will find himself one, but that's it. And a team kill's actually in the mix, though, making this 2v2 still possible. A bait and switch from Noxy and Luchov thrusts the vet into a 1v2. In between both Luchov and Timo, he's got 1v1s on either end. And I don't know if Timo is aware that this wrap is possible, but he's gotten away just in the nick of time. What a hoodwink of a scenario here from Timo. And as soon as coldzera decides to try and plant this bomb, that's where Timo can converge. But this is the one bomb plant that would not allow Timo to have that impact off of the app side, and then he'll swing out regardless as coldzera is pulling out a Molotov. Oh.
This is the perfect play for him to try and get a couple of bucks and also shred down some targets for the AK to have a greater effect. Losing his teammate, fly out of the sky. Another flick! Oh my god, he could have found another on either of the two if he had just trained his crosshair a little sooner. Cow is lucky to be alive in case, and knows that Cold is here, knows that they're in sight, the both of them, but knowing is only half of the battle. Walks it up, player at the pillar, player back sight. Fountain is going to be a hiding spot for Noxy to feel comfy and cozy. That second flash actually is perfect for him to go for this thing, but he takes a little bit too long to go for it and eventually meets his maker because of it. Cowes, now he's ascended, now he's accelerated, and the back of the hole! But Patience 5-7 is bringing us to overtime, and one clip is all he'll need to supersede every member of the Canids.
Can you believe it?
Drop. Close to the half wall, not hearing initially that the shots were coming over the side. Not only the silence they went but the flashbang that had taken his audio away for moments. But when he reacts, it's too little, too late. They've escaped Luchov. I mean, he's the one who's always sticking around and about, as you mentioned. Always good for those fights. And Venom Zera uses the arches. Kaysen doesn't want to throw his life away, so instead leaves his teammates to do some more of the work on their own.
Clean work there from Timo. He still has to be aware of this encroaching player, and that's what Cassin's open arms are for. Shuts down Ponter, shuts down this round for the Canids. Unless Drop and Cold can cook up something magical here on this B bomb side. Luchov is low. One well-placed smoke could allow for a bomb plant as well. But they're just going to go swinging into this just shortly. Drop hits the deck, and coldzera actually gets two. But that third player is the insurance policy. Noxy notches two.
HE's one atop the other. Cow is eating them both. The man swinging the bat all map long. Oh, there was a crossfire that Ponter only barely gets away from. That's so scary, and now he knows that it was set. I think he realizes just how lucky he is, but he also communicates that there's 4 on A, and Noxy's dead. And
Ponter will find one more kill on a Luchov there. This is an anticlimactic round to say so. And now Bestia will just hold on to whatever they have here. Actually, they're just going to go for it. Try to get through Church. Timo nails one. But that's all she wrote. Cows and Drop to chime in. Cassin, he's done some ridiculous things in this game. This one is a bridge too far, I'd say.
It's some exits, man. Player in spawn. Peek me, peek me. Nah, Drop's already gone around the side. But his hands. One flashbang from Tomas and one from Kaysen. Neither are here. Noxy. I'm not understanding.
There's no way they called that setup twice, right? I mean, that's crazy talk. Such an insane gamble to call at such a critical juncture of this game. 2v3 now, final round of the half. And this one is an open and shut case. Crossfire is established. And it's just Bestia continuing to shoot themselves in the foot here. Refusing to win the game, it feels like sometimes. It's a little bit of feigning here on the banana end. It's always Arch. It's always been Arch for Bestia. And they will get eviscerated on that end. Noxy goes for a gamble play. Found out. And with that, Bestia will go back to banana. And now a smoke in their face there as well. I think you just have to go through it.
Yeah,
right?
45 seconds. You kind of have to make a bit of a desperate call. I mean, if you wait too long, it becomes choreographed and shot down. Red. Nothing that Drop needs to do from that point forward other than just stay alive. Doesn't even need to show skin. Eventually he will even still, just because his teammates are spamming from the other aisle as well. And just in front of his smoke with a teammate behind. Dropping a second smoke and a Molotov. And look, another 40-second execute on the B-bomb site. Where have I seen this before? Another call being made 2 times over, and another call that may just fall flat onto its face. Unless, of course, there's a random shot to come through the smoke. And there it is. Okay, well. Take the good with the bad.
I think you go
And
for this if
ugly.
you're the Canids. Do it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I think so. They haven't been investing in double ops or anything. They haven't lost a round yet. Somebody can drop to Cold Zera. It's fine.
Now as we'll get to the church. But they're already very fairly behind the timer at this point. Nate is good. Luchov and Toma will complete the round here.
Get him. Use the bomb. Like those 1.6 or source servers that have the option where you can guess the wire.
They're still just so hellbent when they've got an idea set upon them. They just want to commit to it again and again. 3 T rounds, 3 B bomb site finishes, and this time around, Drop and Ponter rise to the occasion. 2 kills between the 2 of them. And now, Bestia, it's their final curtain call. Luchov, Timo can't find the job, and it's all up to Kassin. He hits a Tech 9 shot, switches back over to the A1S, but I'm pretty sure that gun is dry. He's got to switch back over the Tech 9, and it's just a matter of moments now before Venom Zera is here to close this one out. 16-14 reads the score, and Red Canids have shocked us here.
For the Red Canids, a bit of a shocker for Bestia, but right now, maybe to be shocked in Khan's case as he's tucked on the opposite side of the smoke. Well and truly cleared. Goodbye, and Venom Zera swiftly sends them spiraling in towards the site to where the players are off the backs of the wall looking to find frags. Unsuccessful as Timo, and he needed to be one of the most, as now they could actually just go back to B, in which it looks like they have.
A little bit of a one-tap there from Luchov.
See you later.
Makes this possible at this point, but with how advanced Drop is into the market position, how you suss out Noxy, or how does Noxy suss out him, is another task all in and of itself. Luchov is there for the trade, and all of a sudden, this one feels a little topsy-turvy. Luchov caught between 2 players, but a little bit too slow there, and Ponter capitalizes.
Leaving 2 players in mid, just feigning that they're just going to try and get this pressure and maybe go for a later split. And if they do get 1 kill on either end, they can afford to reset and re-exit, rather not re-execute, but execute into B where the bomb is pulling itself back towards. But these deagles are potent at these distances. Holy Timo, baby.
Love to see that, but they're still encroaching upon this B bomb site, trying to get that go button activated. Another shot connects, but Venom Zera lives to tell the tale. They continue to poke and prod on this B bomb site, but the pistols ring true, and then the scout finds its mark as well. It's all up to Ponter, and I will unfortunately say that he's not winning this one. Toma puts the final nail in the coffin. This might just straight up be a contact play as they walk out of ramp.
Waiting for their cross. Luchov on a little bit of an off angle in case they were to cross the stairs, but he's called that hasn't happened just yet. But both of them are going to be torn apart following the proper pacing and spacing. I like to see that. And is that a shot that just completely rings through the smoke? No, it was actually over topside stairs that Kaysen had rotated in from. Finds himself a second as he swings on by, and Ponter's just missed a split second where he may have been able to catch Noxy, but Noxy pumps the brakes. Cold Zera's got to be the one to have a say in this round, and his HP being where it is, his position being known, it makes Ponter's job all the more difficult. And Kaysen, although he'll miss his mark, gets his teammate somewhat killed. A tag through the side of that box, and do they think he's still in Palace. Tasted seemingly so. And even then, it's all good at the end because there's a kit on Noxy. And although my heart rate is elevated, so too will the round count of BESTIA be. You were talking before about how his roles are kind of awkward and trying to get him actually activated and involved in rounds, and this is just another one of those instances that reinforces my thought process as to him being a real pillar of this bomb site, makes it a lot easier to operate elsewhere. Out the window goes his first, needs to make himself look like the anchor in this moment with a teammate by his side, pulled off from Catwalk. Pistols, not initially that much of a threat, but eventually dishing out damage to where now everybody synced up, and Tomas pulled the pistol, but it seems fine and dandy until you appreciate the fact now that the bomb is in the middle of the site in case he can pull them apart if he would so please. Venom Zera finds a Galil, but it's not enough. A 1v1 and both are low.
Now it's just a game of timing here. Drop trying to triangulate Cassin. He's got to make the first bit of noise. He drops down, takes significant damage, just 2 HP to his name, but then he gets that Galil that Venom Zera dropped to him. And Drop will succeed, upgrades himself up, and it's just a bunch of pistols to get them over the line here for the Canids. Nate softens up at least 2 here temporarily. Barrel should be spotted, and it has, but kill not confirmed. Kawez does significant damage to Timo, and finally Timo has to leave, but he burns alive. Unfortunate situation, but the movement on that position is a little unruly. Boost up for Kawez, and he'll still not be able to find that necessary impact as Toma brings it back to a 4-on-4.
Five-7, left-handed view model to try and swing off and away, and Luchov has done just that and found a second to go along with it on a micro adjustment to Ponto's desperation. He walks out Palace and says hello to the sniper scope trained upon him in case.
Speed things up a little bit more, be a bit more decisive in these defaults, and I think that's what they're thinking about here, just the simple A execution.
Ollie under balcony does flush him forwards. Kawez even still somewhat blind himself as his teammate do the job for him. Still a flurry of frags, and honestly, Ponter doing so much as far as taking attention away from the rest. Again, a lot of that being shown. Distractions run.
Map number 3 continues. It looks good so far. This time around, no Drop gets a favorable trade alongside Kawez. But now, that 5v or 3v4 that they're stuck in now, make that 2v4. This one should be a done deal unless Cassin can have a little bit of a round here. He'll have one chance at a first shot and he'll nail that one. But doesn't get offered up a second, which is the real issue here. It does allow Noxy to potentially get involved into the conversation, but at this point, with how, again, low HP Cassin is, he'll get blown to smithereens.
Not really a reasonable chance to grab that op until the round is about over. He's going to try his best to get closer and inch his way inwards as they're not exposing themselves to a potential clutch. That HE might have blown the op back towards them. I think it did. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, he's like, screw this. I'm out of here, dude. You can buy one another round. Molly for Catwalk behind from this smoke top mid to where Drop's just going to be set up to be a point of contact, which will not be followed up upon very heavily. Spam is looking pretty decent. 2 players there. Okay. One being dealt with by the op and under. And there's one more on the other end, to which Kaysen says, I'll take the M4 now, thank you. It might not be the op that you would save, but I'll still get whatever you had. One boosted to rule them all. Kaysen dinks up a player through the box in Cold Zera. He's still lethal with that specific weapon. Is Kaysen still ever accurate? Loses his teammate on that boost. Still doing it on his lonesome. And again, he plays ring around the rosy to buy time, find frags, and find BESTIA around from out of a hat.
It's going to be tough with Toma on the other end, but they're going to try their hand at it.
When in doubt, P-Pop. Max 10 separated from the AKs well and truly, and none of them are going to be dealing the damage required just yet, needing to desperately find one of the 2 bomb site players eventually dispatched of it, and then the double up. That's both players who would sit in the apartments eventually made themselves known. Noxy, what a move, what a call to make. Pulls Arizona on a reload, pulls his pistol, and great isolation of angles from Noxy. He's all on his own all of a sudden, and damage is good. but a round win is better. It looked so very easy for only a split second, but that crossfire is torn in two. Scope out the situation literally with Noxy and Kaysen, both with those scouts. Playing off of B pretty considerably with only really one in that area of the map, and utterly decimated goes Ponter. How do you can't even react. He goes for the Peeker's advantage swing out and double dinked. I mean,
and I wonder if he's seen the enemy tag of the other to know that Cassin is also there. Or not Cassin. What am I kidding?
Nice
Cassin's
shot.
on the B bomb site. He's gone. And that means his B bomb site's potentially open for business, unless Timo's got another couple of 1-digs in him. Scout shots continue to land, and Noxy is not stopping at this point, continuing to fight forward. Luchov now arrives at the scene, and this has just got from bad to worse. How have they just gotten stuck in the apartments in that fashion?
Berettas fire off on both ends of this pillar drop. Now, oh, I was going to say, oh, his teammate got the kill, but all good. Needing to do something to help out in that campaign. Cowes will do it on his lonesome, though, and if one player can do it, then that's all right. There's been some chip damage peppered through. Finished by coldzera on the snap back. Not letting them plant even and getting them now stuck. In hindsight, maybe would have been better to just force it because they've been crawled in on from every position. Sight lines held. And Kaysen, I mean, at least he can isolate these players relatively easier than if they were to be in a clump, but they've given him room to move.
They have. Now Cassim will have an opportunity at a 1v1, but Venom will capitalize. Find an entry here. Yeah, nobody is Cat, interestingly enough. They're hoping that Cowes can see enough of a sightline, but he's been pushed off. Timo will instead find himself a quick double entry, try to bully his way into this A bomb site, but they completely discount jungle. Cowes finds a critical kill. Trigger discipline, though. Trigger discipline from Ponter. He shuts down the bomb planter, but doesn't connect any bullets onto Timo, leaving into a 2-on-2, and Cowes still having an opportunity to find a little bit more impact.
Yeah, coldzera is just really hoping that they may have swung back into his crosshair, but they're double fighting CT, and that's a great call. coldzera's still sitting on his hands, but Cowes, he is standing tall, hands on trigger, pulls them both.
You can't pull it off very many times.
Also, you know what? Props to Drop's calling right now in these setups and how they've been playing out, whilst also being able to be a sufficient piece to the puzzle. I will say I am pleasantly surprised pretty much across the board with the fundamentals of the team as of right now. coldzera goes down. Op doesn't hit. Leaves now Drop with his low HP, forced to play for a retake in some fashion. A smoke, I believe, deeper than that to retake in a few moments, in addition to the HE that had softened his target. The ramp flank that they're trying to bait for as best as humanly possible, and Ponter now trading places with Cowes on opposite sides of the board.
Drop now has a chance. Oh, Luchov has slunk away. He might have spotted a barrel, and yeah, he's dead set on this.
Nice.
He'll find Luchov straight away. It's Cassin tucked away at the firebox. Head spotted, nade connects. Defuse should be imminent now with plenty of kits all around the shop, and Red Canids, as you mentioned, just fundamentally look very sound right now. And instantly, Bestia looking to encroach upon this A bomb site, just to walk out in Palace, but coldzera, he'll nail that one. Nice rotation into the spawn, and another player showing his face on the Palace end in Timo, but coldzera can't cock the gun back fast enough.
But no, the flashbang that he threw in order to hit ramp also pops right in front of the Palace balcony. He blinded that player, and he thought he was being run down on by VenomZera on the balcony, but instead, that's why he exposes his position. And that is an all telltale sign to what may be to come. He heard him run back, but they've heard nothing else on any other side of the map to be able to leave this A site reasonably, you would think, but they were stuck in this two-player setup. They thought that it was a comfortable one, but now questions as to whether or not they should rotate need to be answered soon. VenomZera honestly needed that frag, and Noxy needs to stay alive with the jump, caught by Cowes.
Now Drop has another opportunity to stop the bomb plant, and Castin caught with head in hands. Toma now in a one-on-one. HP advantage firmly in the favor of the Brazilian captain, but Toma, he gets shifty, he gets crafty in these 1v1s. But with the bomb drop, it's such a precarious situation, it's just got to be a wide swing and drop confirms. He doesn't overcomplicate it. But this time around, there is no coldzera. It's Venom, and it's drop.
Angle on the edge of the smoke. Thought he might have had that. Really good spray, but never an easy one to finish off. Trying their damnedest now to just ensure that that damage is finished off on by somebody else, or otherwise Venom Zero will be the one to do it. Popping his head up and down, left and right to the box, and an exposed player on the opposite side of missiles, only slightly, not fully obscured, and that's it. Oh my, clean sweep, 1 HP point of damage on the Canids. I can't believe it, man. Haunter playing a somewhat dangerous game on the jump spot. Considering how close Tomasin is, that dink may spiral them to make a decision later on in the round to try and finish the job. And I wonder if that's where they're going to redirect the resources, because mid-control somewhat given, creeped out on by Catwalk, and that's it. Drop spots one bottom con. Finished off, though, by the op that's been elevated. Dropping more numbers. This looks like the Canids may have just done it.
They absolutely look like that. Cowes finding a huge kill, relieving some of this mid pressure, but both Luchov and Kassan are still lurking around these smokes, and there's still that presence in the apartments. Ponter's got to be on his A game here. Still on a knife's edge, and Luchov does take care of the window player in coldzera. Spam's coming through, Cowes cutting down the space. And now they should know what's up. They should know who's left. Noxy takes a dink. And 30 seconds left on the clock. Red Canids are knocking on the door of playoffs after being talked down upon in this best of 3. But maybe there's still a little bit more to tell in terms of the story here. It's all up to Kassan in the 1-on-2. Trying to dig out Ponter here. And it's not going to be the case. Ponter shuts it down, and Red Canids, in a shocking, stunning affair,